Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Famous, and today I'm going to be doing this video. Why I'm doing this video, the title of this video, I'm going to title it Three Reasons Why You Shouldn't Study Medicine in the Caribbean. So I know a lot of people will say, why discourage others from going to the Caribbean? It's their choice, it's what they want, but come on, it's just my own view. We all are entitled to our own different opinion. So I just want to give three reasons why I think you shouldn't study medicine, shouldn't go to Caribbean to study medicine. So number one reason is the cost. To me, because actually I'm talking out of personal experience. I know we everybody have their own different experience, right? Yeah, that's true, but I'm talking from my own experience. So one reason why, for me, one reason why I think students shouldn't go to Caribbean to study is one, the tuition. I think the tuition is really extremely high for especially those coming from what they call third world country. I don't think going to the Caribbean to study medicine is a good move to make, because most of the MD programs they cost at least minimum of $12,000 per year. Then for the pre-med course, it's a minimum of I think most schools are within $10,000 and above for a year, 10,000 USD. So and I think it's really high. I don't think unless you're from a extremely stable home or you are under scholarship. Maybe you're from a stable home and your guardian or your guardian doesn't have a lot of people to take care of. Maybe just you. Yes, you can go. But if your parents or people paying your tuition have a lot of commitment, I think going to Caribbean it's not a wise decision, because definitely there are other countries where the cost of medical education is quite lower, and even the standard it's even good. It's good. So that's my number one reason. The cost of tuition is high. Everything, when I say cost of tuition, not just the cost of tuition, even the cost of the living expenses is high. In the Caribbean, if your living expenses should be nothing, if you want to live comfortably, at least minimum of $1,000 USD a year, then I think to me it's really high. Then now high also it depends on the individual involved, but to me I think it's high. If I can get such these same educations in another country that is far cheaper, why not go to that country? So I think the cost of tuition is high, the cost of living, accommodation is high. Then the part that it's really killing is the cost of flight to the school. You know, during my time when I traveled to the Caribbean for my initially, because I was in the Caribbean before I came over to the Philippines. So the cost of ticket, that was 2014. I think the cost of my return ticket was around 4,500 USD. That was the cost of my ticket. So to me, it's really high, because Caribbean, most of those countries are islands. It's like West Indies. So the cost of getting to that place, especially from those from Africa, you have to do mostly you need to apply for transit visa. Once you've been given admission, you need to apply for transit visa. Like me, I am a Nigerian, so I got my admission later, but I had to apply for a transit visa. But when I applied for U.S. transit visa, I wasn't given. So what I had to do, the agent that did my booking had to take me through Brazil. That is Brazil. So with that Brazil route, at that time I flew Ethiopian Airlines. So with that Brazil route, then there was no need for me to get a transit visa. So I think the cost of flight is really it's expensive, and the cost of the numbers of country you need to travel to for you to get to your destination. It's really much. Like me, when I was my admission was in St. Vincent in the Caribbean, close to Trinidad and Tobago then. So when I got my admission, what I had to do, because I was denied US visa, so I had to go through Brazil, as I said earlier. So I flew from Lagos to Ethiopia. From Ethiopia, I flew to Brazil. From Brazil, I flew to Panama. From Panama, I flew to Trinidad and Tobago. From Trinidad and Tobago, I got to Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. So I think to me, it's a long trip. It's a long trip, and personally, I wouldn't want to travel such kind of long trips anymore. So it's quite expensive, and the numbers of routing is just too much. Also, these are my personal opinion. You get, it's just my own personal opinion. So and also think number one reason is the tuition. Two, the tuition is quite expensive. Two, the yes, number two, the most of those schools in the Caribbean, many of those schools are new schools. Some of them were even started 2012, 2013. You get most of those schools are old schools. So and most of their facilities, they are not really. Now, I'm not trying to badge the Caribbean schools. Still, it's just my own personal experience. Now, we know they have different level and different standards in the Caribbean. There, yes, there are some very top good schools there. So, but still, those schools you really have to pay extremely high. And the thing is, I think for most African students, basically, I think this video is actually for African students. You get, because as an African student, especially African nations, that most of them, they are under they're facing inflation. Their currency is facing inflation. So I don't think going to the Caribbean it's a wise move. It's not a wise move, because even during my stay in the Caribbean, I think at my own country, we had serious issue within the country, to an extent that international students, we couldn't even do withdrawals. We couldn't do withdrawals from our school. So we had to start looking for different means to get money. So most of those schools are new school. That's my number two reasons, and I don't think their facilities are not. I have information that most of those MD students, they even use models. They use models as for demonstration. So they don't even get to see cadaver. So they have to use model, and I wouldn't want to. I think I should get the value of what I'm paying for. Actually, during my time, it was my pre-med. During my pre-med, I had to leave, so I didn't get to the MD. If not, I would have had experience with the MD. But it was during my pre-med I had to leave because of the cost was really too much. It was really telling on me. So number three reason is many of those schools. I think now you can also verify, but many of those schools, they are not even under the word medical directory. I checked most of those schools; they are not under the word medical directory. And one of their selling points of the Caribbean is this: you have a U.S. clinical experience. Fine, you're gonna have U.S. clinical experience, because for the U.S. clinical experience, any medical student can have a U.S. clinical experience. Depends if you're doing MD. Like for MD student, your fourth year, MD, which is 4 years, your fourth year, you can always do your fourth year anywhere in the world. So having clinical experience, to me, it shouldn't be a selling point, because any student anywhere, if you're in Nairobi, you're in Brazil, you're in the Philippines, anywhere you are, as long as you're an MD student and you intend to have a clinical experience, definitely you can have it. So I don't think that should be a selling point, and which is one of the main selling points. most they'll tell students, oh, you have clinical experience, because most of those students, they didn't they haven't done their research very well. They haven't done their research very well. So once they hear clinical experience, oh, so they're just rushing. So the issue of clinical experience, I think anybody can have it from any medical school. So, and that's one of and as I said, most of those schools are not even in the world medical directory. And the thing is, now most of those schools that even tell students that will give you clinical experience. Now, one of the criteria for clinical experience is this: your school needs to be in the world medical directory. No. Sorry, not for your. I think for your rotation. No, if I can get it. No, for rotation, fine. Yeah, for rotation, you can actually. Your school doesn't have to be in the world medical directory. Also, it depends on the hospital that is accepting you, or the institute that is accepting you. But for like someone that intends to practice medicine in the US, you get, if you for your rotation, you're not rotation now, for your residency, now, your institute now will need to verify if your school, because that's one of the criteria. Your school have to be your school has to be in the world medical directory. And many of those schools, later that I checked, those schools weren't there yet. Now, because many of those schools are still new schools, now I know there are a lot of good schools there. Now, like I'm saying, I say this is just my own personal experience. Now, as an African student, I will not suggest you go to Caribbean for medicine. If you really want to study medicine, and you're thinking about the future, you want to go to the US to practice, what I would suggest you look into other countries that their education it's really very good also. And also because the thing is, the major thing is you have to look at the end from the beginning. Looking at the end from the beginning means you're starting something, but you also want to finish it. You don't want to start and stop halfway. Because as I'm making this video now, there are a lot of students that are even trapped in the Caribbean. Most of course medicine for 4 years, 5 years course, most of them they're even there 7 years. 1 semester in school, 2 semester out of school. I don't think that's the best way to study medicine. So for African students, I prefer you look for other destination. I think Philippines it's a good destination. At least the cost of tuition is quite affordable. Of course, currently now I'm not trying to sell the Philippines. I'm not trying to look one country bad to make to make another country good. No, that's not the purpose of this video. As I said, it's just based on my own personal experience. You get, so I prefer African student. They should look into other countries. Yeah, but if your guardian or your sponsor, if they have if they think they can foot the bill, why not? Why not? If money it's not a factor, why not? You can go to the Caribbean. Why not? You can go. Yeah, because there are also top schools there, so you can go. So these are my reasons why I think study medicine. You shouldn't study medicine in the Caribbean. Now, I'm not saying the standard of education it's is substandard. No, the education the standard is good. No, the standard is good. But what I'm saying here is based on my own personal experience. It's quite expensive. 2, most of those schools are new. And 3, the issue of US clinical experience, I think anybody, which is their major selling point, I think any medical student, any medical student in the world can definitely have a clinical experience. As long as an MD student, your 4th year, you can always apply. You can apply to anywhere you wish to do your 4th year rotation, and definitely if you've been accepted, then you go in. So these are just my my take. I hope I've not offended anybody. Yes, I know I'm going to have a lot of reaction concerning this video. That I know I'm going to have a lot of reaction, but actually, I'm actually using my it's my tools I'm actually using, so I'm not borrowing tools for this video. So if you think you have something contrary, yes, you could just you also you leave a comment, or just let me know why you think this video should not shouldn't be that way. Just give me the reason why you feel, just prove me wrong. That's what I'm trying to say. If you think this video shouldn't be made, then you prove me wrong. But I don't think going to Caribbean for medical education, it's a smart idea. No, I don't think so. All right. So this is my channel. So you like the channel, so you subscribe, and also leave a comment. So thank you.